I started just putting together like some demos just for fun, like just to, of my own stuff, just to kind of like, to do stuff that I felt was like a little more fitting for my style. So I was like, well, I play a little bit of drums, I play a little bit of guitar, I sing a little bit. Why don't I just do everything? Why don't I just do everything on the record and just see how it goes, right? And it sounded really cool. Like I was really happy with the outcome and stuff. And I was like, I showed it to some friends and they thought it was cool and everything like that. And they were like, man, it sounds good. And I was like, cool, like I was like, the idea is to put together a band, so like, and I still wanted to play drums at the time. So I was playing drums. But I wanted to get like, the whole band together, singer and all that. So we eventually became Pictures and Pieces, and that was the band that I was playing with for, I'd say maybe about 3 or 4 years, maybe a little bit longer than that. But that's probably when I realized I was like, okay, well, I actually like the sound of my voice and I think it sounds cool. Like I want to sing more, so I will. so yeah.
So you listen to your voice, you're like, all right, I like the way.
It's like it sounds cool. I was like, it sounds like, if I weren't, like if I was outside, I would listen to this. I think it sounds like good enough for me to listen to. So like, it's like I try to be careful with saying stuff like that because I don't want to come off as like,
no, like but think about it. Like some people are more like, I just don't, they would compare themselves to somebody else, but you kind of at this, it sounds like you've kind of said, no, you found your voice.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And you're like, no, this is,
Totally. Yeah. And honestly, like, I've never wanted to be that person like that, like, that's always just like, oh, it sounds terrible. Like, oh, I don't want to listen to it. Oh, I don't want
you gotta give. You gotta give.
Because, like, honestly, that can be kind of like, you can get into a dark spot with that as well, too.
You can be like, your own negative Nancy.
Totally. All the time. Like, I like the sound of my music, you know what I mean? Like I think
big.
It's now a lot of the times, like most of the times I'm usually like listening clinically. Like so I'm listening like, critically, to make sure that everything sounds good and everything like that. But I also listen for enjoyment, like I'll listen back and I'm like, all right, we got it, sounds good, so there we go.
I love that.
Yeah, I'm not that type of person. And honestly, like I just want to be the type of like create the type of music that I would, put on a playlist, so like I.
Let me go ahead and give a quick shout out to Crescendo Studios. If you are a resident of the DC, Maryland, Virginia area looking for a professional studio, a music school for yourself or your child, or looking to join, perform, and collaborate with local artists, Crescendo Studios is the studio for you. Crescendo has first-class equipments for your sound productions, the best music instructors the area can offer, and the studio also regularly hosts open mic events and Nova Traffic Jam. So, want to connect with Crescendo? Reach out to the team of Your Soul Shall Network and Bo for your moment at Crescendo. Want more of Preach with Prak? How about you go ahead and subscribe to our Rise and Shine to Your Purpose newsletter, available only on preachwithprak.com. Here I'll provide you a weekly message to guide you throughout the week and check in with you with a wellness questionnaire. So, what are you waiting for? Go ahead and subscribe to Rise and Shine to Your Purpose newsletter, available only on preachwithprak.com. Finding our purpose is like finding a root on the ground. Initially, you are unable to tell what that root is meant to do. But when you give it the opportunity to grow, to bloom, when you give it the time, care, and attention, you will see what that root is meant to be all along.